this video, we are looking at question number 6, additional part. In the previous video, we looked at the first part, which is the main part of this essay, which is contemporary economic issues. Now we're just going to be focusing on how can the continued stages of load shedding cause inflation. So those two questions are interrelated. However, this is the main one, and then this one is just the additional one. As you can see, it only comprises of 10 marks. Now let us see how you will respond in an essay format when you are responding to the second part or the additional part of the essay. Now let us look at the additional part. What would be the impact of load shedding on the inflation? Load shedding can lead to reduced production in many industries, causing the shortage of goods and services, which may result in demand pull inflation. So what does that mean? If the load shedding keeps on happening, the producers might not be able to produce sufficient food and services that are required by the economy because they wouldn't have enough electricity to do so. In that case, the demand might not, the demand and supply will not match. What does it mean? There will be less supply and more demand, and the demand pull will cause inflation. There will be a demand pull inflation. During load shedding, business may have to rely on backup power sources such as generators, which increase the cost of producing, resulting in cost push inflation. So now what happened? If there's no electricity, they need to use backup. The suppliers need to use backups like generators, and they are expensive when compared to electricity. In that way, the suppliers might decide that the cost or additional cost they incurred as a result of using generator need to be factored in the selling price that they charge the consumers. In that way, the inflation will pile up. Load shedding can lead to weakening value of rand due to decrease in foreign investors' confidence, and the country's economy's hence decreasing aggregate supply and lead to inflation. So now what does it mean? It means that even though the supplier might have used generators, however, they will not be able to sell it in the foreign market, and the investors might lack confidence as they would not know where this inflation will lead to. So the inflation will also weakening the rand, and also as the foreign investors will lose confidence in the country. A weakening rand value will result in an increase in key imported input, which will increase price of goods. So what does it mean? If before the supplier needed 10 rand to buy $1 and now they need 15 rand to buy $1, what does it mean? It means if they're buying their inputs in the US, it will be more expensive than it was before. And the reason it will be so, or it will be more expensive than it was before, it is basis, or it mainly because of the fact that they are now buying or they are paying more for the same input they need. Lower levels of investment contribute to stagflation through decreased employment and lower economic growth, which can negatively affect inflation. Load shedding can lead to supply chain disruption, thereby causing inflation as businesses tend to pass on added costs to consumers. Inefficient allocation of resources due to load shedding hinder economic development and lead to cost inefficiencies, which may contribute to higher prices. Load shedding may lead to increased government expenditure as government is forced to invest in infrastructure such as power generator to address load shedding issues, leading to inflationary pressure due to increased government borrowings. So now what does it mean? The number of team players get affected here, both private as well as public. Government is affected in a way that now, in order to support the hospitals, to support the schools, they might need to buy generators for them so that they are still able to continue producing education as well as health services during inflation. And that means now it lead to even government having to borrow money in order to be able to provide those generators. The private sectors will be heavily affected as well because they will need to have the backup powers, which is expensive compared to electricity. And by doing so, it means they'll have to push on prices. Again, foreign investors might not think it's as viable for them to invest in South Africa, as the prices might be an indication that the country is going through recession. Let's take us to the end of the second part. I wish you all the best in your exam tomorrow, and bye.